Glad to be here again. 2025, obviously our first time here speaking with you guys, but it's been a nice, exciting 2 months. Just getting to know these new faces, exposing these guys to the Carolina football way, the Beamer way, and obviously make sure they understand the defense. How we want to do things, how we want to communicate, how we want to get things going. But besides that, it's been a great 2 weeks. Obviously, spring ball last week, practice 1 and 2. Like what we've seen, guys are hungry and eager to keep growing. So, any questions?
I would guess there's probably plenty more to accomplish since you are only 2 in and haven't even put all the pads on yet. So what have you seen through the first 2 practices that has you, I guess, comfortable and excited with the group?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to be excited about your new faces, and it's a lot of new faces, so that's always makes things brand new and exciting. Anytime it's get something new like that, it makes you kind of excited a little bit. But I think what I've seen, a lot of guys been eager to learn our defense and trying to expose them to enough of things to where they can learn and grow fast, and also make mistakes and learn from their mistakes, and also. I think the most important thing is that how they're communicating. Day 1, running to the ball versus day 2 is night and day. Just teaching them the way that we have to be doing here in the SEC, especially the way we play.
I think towards the end of last year, the bowl season, everyone was raving about the potential of Fred J.R. Johnson. What do you need to see from him these next couple of weeks for him to reach that potential? Where does he need to grow?
I think most of our players are at that point where they want to continue reaching their potential, and it's a process. It's a day-to-day process. It was nice to see me. I pulled in a little early today, and our guys have to be in the building at 7:30. I realized that he was already at his locker like 7:05. I think it's little things like that. It's really not on the field stuff for a guy like him, as athletic as he is. It's really my job and his job to meet each other halfway to make sure he can maximize his potential. But it's going to be the day-to-day process, how he carries himself on and off the field, really mainly off the field as a person, going to class and doing everything right. Those are just building those habits to make you maximize everything that you have. I think if he just continues doing that, the other stuff it'll naturally come. And the defense, you eventually get it over a long period of time. It's kind of what I tell them. Just keep grinding every day at it, and you'll be great.
You're replacing pretty much all of your snaps at defensive tackle. What have you seen from that group so far, and how do you go about such a big turnaround in one offseason?
Yes, I think one, get the players here first and foremost. We got some players here. We have some guys that we recruited. We have some guys that we recruited out of the portal, and just keep exposing them to what we do. I will say one thing about the guys that we had that left. Those are the same guys that was here in 22 and 23 as well. So they put a lot of good stuff on tape. And last year they put, a lot of good things on tape. Our guys can learn from our film from last year. They can learn from our practice film and how we practice. I think that's going to accelerate that room faster than what we think. But right now those guys are doing great. They're practicing hard, and they're doing the little things with Coach Robinson, Coach Dove, up front on the inside. And I like what they're doing, and just got to continue it and just keep growing every single day.
A big addition to the line was Xavion Hardy from JUCO. What have you seen from him so far in the first 2 practices?
Yes, he came here. We had to take care of his body first, get his body up, up to the size that we like. I love his frame. I think he moves very well. He moves probably just as good as anyone that we've had in that room for us, just lateral quickness and just acceleration and athletic ability. I love it. He's 6'5" on a short day, you know what I mean? And so you love that part. Right now it's time to get the play strength up, continue grinding in the weight room, get his body. He spent 2 years in JUCO, and JUCO's program as far as just taxing a college player body is not the same as it is at this level. So he has to get used to that. And in the meals with Yemi, our guys, I don't know what they put in that food down there, but for whatever reason, our guys can put on weight. So he's put on some pounds, some muscle is the most important part. That's what Coach Day and Coach Yemi do a great job together. Yemi puts the food in, and Coach Day turns it into muscle. So I'm excited to watch him just continue to grow.
Obviously, there's a lot of different options you can go with in the secondary at certain spots. Who are some guys at that nickel and corner spots that are working in those respective spots right now?
Yes, I think Jalen Kilgore had such a great season last year. He had 5 interceptions last year, which is a lot. That's probably battling for top in the conference. So with him, he gives us a lot of flexibility. He'll stay at home to start, and then we obviously have Sandy, who's coming back from an injury last year, who's helping us. We're working Jaquel there. Also, Cisse's hopping in there at times, playing coverage nickel and playing some. He's learning that position as well. So we have options, which makes it fun. For me as a coordinator, I've got some guys I can play around with. So in regards to keeping our defense versatile and keeping guys on their toes.
So much of last year's or the fall's conversation was about the voice that Demetrius Knight had in the locker room, on the field. I guess, how do you even begin to replace someone like that who was, so beneficial with what he was saying to everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. I would say a year ago at this press conference, I wouldn't have said that Demetrius Knight was going to be the voice of our football team and pretty much our program. So hopefully right now we're putting guys in those positions to hopefully they can come out of their shell and you really can't name a person because I would not have said Demetrius Knight last year, so I don't want to say a name now and put someone on the spot to make them come out be who they're not. I think most importantly, we want our guys to be themselves. We want our guys to lead in your way because you wouldn't be here if you weren't a leader, I don't think. And I think Coach Beam was doing a good job and Coach Day is doing a good job of putting these guys in position to expose themselves in regards of just, getting out in front of the football team, and I'm trying my best to do the same. So, unfortunately, I don't have a name. Sorry.
After a year in your system and at South Carolina, what's the difference between Dylan Stewart last year at this time and Dylan Stewart today?
I would say that the main thing with Dylan that's different is just his process. I always thought that from day one that he had a special knack for certain things on the football field that not a lot of people can do. I believe that his day-to-day life is also just being a high school freshman last year, understanding just the little things on how to move day to day. And I think that's what I've seen the most from him. And he's understanding our defense to a bigger picture, not just the defensive end spot. I think that he is also starting to point other guys in the right direction as far as, some things some details on our defense. I think that's fun to watch. And, he's grinding through it. He's running to the ball, and he's having fun, a little bit more fun. I know his personalities seem like he's kind of a reserved person, but he comes out of his shell a lot. I think it's fun whenever he does that.
From a volume standpoint, Nick obviously played a ton of snaps for this last 3 years. So how do you go about trying to replace that? Could it be like a group effort, or would you like to see one guy really kind of step up and emerge? And
Did you say Nick?
Yeah, Eman yeah.
Nick Eman, okay. He's definitely him and DQ and Jalen Kilgore, and I think they played over 750 snaps last year, which is a lot of football. I want to say one of those guys hit 800. I'm not sure which of the three, but I know those three guys played a lot. But trying to replace that volume, and it's replacing more than just his snaps. You know what I mean? So I think right now you're getting more to a normal person, if that makes any sense. So obviously having him for the past 3 years was a luxury. Like 1 year, I say, hey, go cover Florida's best receiver best you can. Obviously now with his testing, you see why we put him out there to go cover another first round receiver. So, but trying to, you can't replace that kind of person. So it's just back to normal football now.
This might not be the best wording, but you lose 7 starters, and there's probably a lot of people who say, hey, you got to replace Kyle Kennard and Nick Emanwari and all that. But do you look at it more of like you got to moneyball it a little bit, just do it in the aggregate? Let's get all of our guys to kind of use depth, and we don't need one guy to be Kyle Kennard. But if we have a couple guys rotating through and kind of get to that level of production, we'll be okay.
Yes, I think. We had that conversation here as a defense is that we're going to take what happened last year and learn from it, and use it to our best knowledge that we can make, so we can put the best product on the field in 2025. Starting this spring, starting in our meetings, I do believe that you do want to. The production is gone. Like they're not walking back in here. So we're trying to take that step forward and understanding that let's learn from what they. Most of us was here last year, so let's do a great job of learning of how we got there. We went through some bumps. We went through some valleys, but those guys kept fighting. They stayed together. They played as a team. They had fun. They communicated. They took pride in the details of the defense, and they took pride in the details of learning the offense and understanding what teams were trying to do to us. And I think that was the reason why we were successful last year. And Obviously, I still say that, our offense did a really good job last year running the football and getting first downs. I think both of us were 10% better on third down percentage. We were 10% better. They were 10% better. They ran the ball almost 200 times, so that really helped. So it's a team thing, bro. So it really helps each other. So I think that helps a ton.
With some of those second-year guys and the secondary guys like Joe Lewis, Solomon, Kelvin Hunter, and David Busey, how have you seen them work to take that next step from year 1 to year 2 this year, and how they try to make an impact this year?
That's really what makes it kind of fun. To be honest with you, when you're a coach and you've been here, you go through the season, you grind through the season, which that's unexplainable. That's a book in itself. But then when you come back in January and you're watching the second-year players who you recruited the year before, kind of the light bulb kind of comes on for those kind of guys. It's fun watching them play, be in the right spot at the right time, and making plays. I think that's the part that makes us coaches make you a little bit younger. I lose a guy who's married with 2 kids. Now I got guys who just got their license a year ago and stuff like that. So that makes me younger. So, and that makes it fun for us as coaches. And we just want to continue, keep recruiting, keep bringing in guys like that have great makeup and great backgrounds, and it makes coaching really fun. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.